annual City of Houston Hackathon, and we could not do this without the support of the City of Houston, of C-Panel, of the Iron Yard, of Neighborhood Centers Baker Ripley, of the Randy and Cheryl Baxley Foundation, of the Simmons Foundation, of all of our great sponsors that we mentioned before. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking because we've got 23 presentations to go through. But Mayor Turner, if you would like to say a few words, if you wouldn't mind, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, just a few. I can't really hear much of this. Watching this to you all. Let me thank Jeff. Jeff's been with me. And then all the sponsors, everyone who's participated over the last 5 years. Well, this is the moment. This is the time for the City of Houston when we talk about innovation, technology, staying current, being creative. This is what the whole hackathon is about. And over the last 5 years, the number of projects that have been, those who have been awarded, those have been scored very, very high. When it comes to budgeting, that's been important. I see Jesse Reynolds right here. When it comes to budgeting, when it comes just for people getting to know what the city is offering, the 200 data sets that are now being made available for the City of Houston. It's about transparency, it's about openness, it's about data, it's about people being able to see exactly what's taking place to assist people within their lives, and that's what this is all about, moving the city forward, okay? So that people can see in real time what is taking place or what is not taking place, quite honestly. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. I look forward to the City of Houston being a greater participant. You know, I've been talking about the Institute for Data Sciences, and more technology, more investment, and we have to push it. And if we don't, somebody else will be playing in this space. And there's no reason why the City of Houston should be standing still and behind the time. So thank you all for your participation. Okay, thank you.
All right, we're going to get this show on the road. I'm going to turn this off for a moment. Okay. All right, so we sent out the presentation order earlier. Did everybody see that? Yes. Did anybody submit a project that's not on the presentation list? No. All right. So we're going to get started right now. Up first, we have smoke detector. Smoke detector team. How about a round of applause? Let's just keep it going. All right. I got you right here.
Did we have the...
You have to try it out down right there.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. How are y'all doing? So what we decided to do, we've got a team of 5 people. Everyone, stand up and raise your hands. That's the whole team. So what we decided to do was build out a smoke detector risk model. So New Orleans collaborated with an organization called Enigma. It was a public-private conversation. And what they did was they focused on identifying New Orleans blocks least likely to have smoke detectors and most likely to have a fire. And they used this data for prioritization for installing smoke detectors. Around the nation, fire departments will get money, they'll purchase smoke detectors, and then they'll go personally install it inside the homes. And so what we said was, why couldn't we do it here? It seems like a reasonable thing to do. They actually made all of their algorithms public and on GitHub. And so what the risk model is an overall risk, which is assessed through a smoke alarm risk, which is based on a random forest machine learning model, and then American Household Survey responses to the question, is there a working smoke detector in this home? And then we also do a population risk, which is identified as being under the age of 5 or over the age of 65. And then they give a 1/3 weight to that. And then they do a home fire risk, which is literally just a residential fires per capita calculation. And they give that a 2/3 weight to it. And then they add the two together, divided by 2, and it spits it out, and then they start prioritizing. But one of the problems is this population risk that they do. Under the age of 5 and over the age of 65 are a higher risk category, but it actually eliminates other high-risk categories such as disability status. For example, a 40-year-old person who's a paraplegic would not be considered high risk in this calculation. A 40-year-old person who's paraplegic would be considered the same risk as me, which is inherently an unfair thing. So we decided to come up with a solution for it. Fortunately, the if you care about census data, all of this data is calculated at the block group level, and a real layman's explanation is that there's block group, there's census tract, and then there's your county. And so the block group calculation is probably, on average, about a population of 4,000 people. And so they do those calculations. Now, unfortunately, the federal government doesn't track disability status at the block group level, but they do track it at the tract level. So what we were able to do, and they actually track it at the tract level and break it out by age groups. So we were actually able to eliminate everybody who identified as a person with a disability under the age of 5 and over the age of 65. And we were able to create disability risk. And then we retweaked the weighting that we did in the formula. And the reason for doing that was because, honestly, once a home burns down and is rebuilt, it is very unlikely to burn down again. So we pulled some of the weight off of that, and we actually increased the population risk weight because it's still important to track people under the age of 5 and over the age of 65. And then we put a 25% weight to the disability risk, which is exclusively people between the ages of 5 and 64 who have identified as people with disabilities. And what we did was we created a dashboard to show the percent change among the different, among the old model versus the new model that we created. And as you can see, the areas in red are the places that increased in priority, and the areas in blue are the places that decreased in priority. We saw a pretty dramatic shift in the census blocks that matter. And so what this does is this will help fire departments, specifically the Houston Fire Department, prioritize what they're going to do and how they're going to proactively outreach. And just in case y'all were wondering, this is a fun little fact. Had a conversation with the fire chief, and they actually use injured firefighters to install smoke detectors. So when in the line of duty they get a minor injury, a sprained wrist, a rolled ankle, they can't go out to a fire until they're cleared by a doctor. So those pool of firefighters still come into work, and we actually send them out to do smoke detector installations. So we've met with the fire chief, or spoke to the fire chief already. He's very much on board with this, and part of our team, we brought in Maria Town, who is the director of the mayor's office with people with disabilities. She advised us on the federal data. She advised us on the census data. And we're actually going to start making recommendations through the mayor's office and through congressional offices for the next census to actually include disability status at a more granular level so we can have an even better model. And then the next step is for us to also kind of dunk on New Orleans and send them a better model back to them. And so our team, again, is in the back. This is everybody who was on our team. I actually had a lot of fun doing this, and I think that it's going to be something we can implement immediately. So thank you all for your time.
All right. So all of these projects are available online. If you go to HoustonHackathon5.devpost.com, you'll be able to review all of the submissions, check out all the great data visualizations. Let's give a hand for Harold, our timekeeper. So Harold is the person you need to know. Harold will cut you off if you go over time. When you have 30 seconds left, he's going to give you a signal. It might be a dance, it might be some fists in the air, it might be something. But keep an eye on Harold. He's standing right next to the camera, and he will cut you off by clapping. So, up next, we have meaningful change, not spare change. That sounds familiar. I don't know. Come on up here, meaningful change. So I would use this microphone.
Okay, where's the?
I would use this microphone. I would use this one.
I can't take it with me. Oh,
No, but you don't want to walk in front of the...
Okay. Okay. So we are meaningful change, not spare change. And this was right into your sweet spot.
Mike.
We're trying to connect the community to those that are experiencing homelessness with city services. Okay, thanks. So the case for change is just that. On an average night, and these are 2016 numbers, 3,600 people that are found on the streets of Houston. And it's a chronic problem, and we want to engage the community to help solve it in a meaningful approach, not just and hopefully to provide some humanity in it, to help them get the way home. And so the collaborative model is just that, is trying to help join the community with those people that are on the street and help them to see them in a different way by providing that money in a meaningful manner. So the whole precept for this is to catch them in the moment. You know, people are out there and they're being approached by folks that are looking for help. And we want them to do that in a meaningful way. So the first way is to report those folks and where they're located. So the app actually lets you, right where you are, drop a locator. And after we get multiple of those locations, then we'll actually flag it as probably a legitimate place. And that data can then be used in a number of ways, in helping with the census data, also giving to outreach communities that can also provide assistance, and we can watch that as that changes over time. And the second way is to actually implement a geofencing kind of capability. So once that report is in, then as people in their cars or as they're walking around, just like Waze does or others, will notify you and say, look, you're about to approach an opportunity, and instead of giving change, try to do it in a meaningful way. And so the way to do that is to engage with the application. And so the way that you can engage or the way you can help is either by donating with one click. So we wanted that to be very simple while they're driving or walking. Very simply, either through PayPal or Apple Pay or something like that. The other way is to pledge an advocacy. This is on the Way Home website, to actually say, yes, I'm engaged and I want to help. And the third way is identifying volunteer opportunities right where they are. So it does a locator of where they are and where they might participate. And so from all that data we can collect heat maps of where people are experiencing homelessness, as well as where people are donating. And with those maps, we can see as they change over time, so we can see the movements of people as they move around the city. So we're going to show you a quick demo. We think.
I think it's at the top of that screen.
So here it is. So very simply, you can hit report. We wanted everything to be one click so that it could be very simply done. It also shows you locations of where other reports have already been made, so that if you're in the same area, you don't need to do the reporting. And at the same time, it encourages you not just to report, but also to do something about it. So actually push the donate button. You can report it, or if you feel so inclined, to do the donation. Okay, we're out of time. But you can see how simple it is. It's on a simple application that anyone can use on their phone. Thank you very much.
Awesome. That was really good. I love this app. I kind of want to keep seeing it. So up next, we have Hugh Best Friend. Hugh Best Friend in the house. Come on up here. All right. Yeah, let's see, we're the first one right here.
We're just going to go straight to the website.
Okay, fantastic. And if y'all are standing in the back, you're welcome to come in here. We've got some empty seats right in here.
Hi, thanks for having us. We're from Keystone Resources, a full-service design agency located in the Heights. We're 12 people and 2 dogs strong, so this project is very personal to us. And I'm going to turn it over to Karen Lovelady and Shauna Godoy, the designer and the developer for this project.
Because we typically all in the office have at least one dog, this is kind of a personal project. So we kind of start off with the name. We got there through domain research. This URL was about $10, but Dog Friendly Houston was about $2,500. So we decided to kind of make it a little bit like Dog Friendly. And then we use really bright colors to kind of illustrate Houston's vibrancy. And then also kept it very simple as a single page. And you can filter by park and restaurants. And then zoom into your neighborhood, and then it will filter results to the right. And I'm gonna let Shauna talk a little bit about the code.
What did I just do? It's okay. Okay. So this was built using the Google Maps API and what else am I supposed to talk about?
It's on Monix.
It's on Monix?
No, it's not on Monix.
It's not on
It's
Monix,
No,
okay.
no, it's just a single page application. Yeah, it was built using Node and the Google Maps API, and you can you can add and delete locations.
And currently, we got this feed from the city of places who have applied and have accepted dog permits, as well as all of the parks. And this was really personal to us as well, because we were one of the donors to the dog park on the Johnny Steele dog park right there on Allen Parkway. We love to do happy hours with our pets. All of the pets at our office are all rescue pets, and so when we go out to lunch as a group and as a team or do happy hours, we always are looking for places to go to bring our pets. Even our parking signs in front of our office say for visitors, clients, and dogs. So we wanted to make sure to do that. We, in the future, are looking to add offices that are also pet friendly to really promote culture and really exciting workplaces.
Probably
And
bars.
it's live. I'm sorry, what, John?
Bars.
And
There's
bars
lots
as
of
well.
different other filters. we
Yeah,
could
and this
probably
site
add.
is live right now.
Yeah. It's HoustonsBestFriend.com.
So
Check it out.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I was playing around with that site earlier, and it's a really well-built site. It's beautiful. I think we might have knocked a microphone over here, but it's okay. Up next, we have Safest Route Houston. Is Safest Route Houston in the house? Say, all right, come on up here, Safest Route Houston. Give them a round of applause. Yeah.
Hey Jeff, where are we live streaming this? Where are we live streaming this?
On the YouTube, I'll get it in the Slack channel right now. It's in the hackathon.
Where's the? If the rest of the team wants to come up. Okay, thanks. My name's Aaron Brown, and we are Safe Route Houston. As a Houstonian for over 10 years, I've seen this city change a lot in a very short amount of time. And I'm willing to bet that most of y'all actually walked more than a block to get here. So as a husband, a friend, and a person who has family members in and visiting Houston, I want to make sure that they have a safe time while they're walking around Houston. However, the current situation is that our routing applications and our crime data are currently segregated in two separate sources. So our main customers are people who need to get between two places without having to worry about their personal safety. This is why for this hackathon, our first project is pedestrian routing. It integrates routing and historical crime density. Pedestrian routing gives users control, confidence, and peace of mind while they're planning their walk. It actually optimizes the route to avoid potentially unsafe areas. So imagine for a minute as you're getting out of your car or hopping off your bike or just about to walk from one building to the next, with just the tap of your finger, you can actually find the best route. And that takes into account either it being the fastest, like Google would give you, or it could also be a much safer route. It's also going to notify you as you're walking when you approach a potentially unsafe area. And we make all of this information available in a practical, easy-to-use function. So in order to do this, part of our product development, we went through several iterations with customers. So we actually, in the first iteration, we found out that customers couldn't tell the difference between the different routes when they were on top of one another. So we actually went back and said, we'll make one of them a bit wider. The second time we went through, the person said that they actually wanted to have the ability to enter an address, and that it wasn't obvious that they should tap somewhere to actually find the direction. So both of those sort of iterations happened all this weekend, and we ended up with our final product. So we'd like for this to obviously grow. There's a lot more things that can be done. We can incorporate accident data if you're talking about driving in a car. Weather conditions will also be quite important. Potentially the type of crime might influence how and where you go. And then also probably people would like to see nice things, so trees and that. We'll expand to runners, cyclists, drivers, different modes of transportation. And this is the team. A couple of people sitting. Yep.
Thank you guys so much. That was really great. And not pictured in this team picture is Judith Oppenheim, who is a regular member of Sketch City. She comes to our weekly hack nights on Tuesdays at the Castillo Center from 6 to 8 p.m. Just a little plug there. Up next, can Houston Eviction Fighter make its way to the front here? This is a full room. Thank you all for coming. Houston Eviction Fighter, are you back there? Going once. No Houston Eviction Fighter. We'll come back to y'all. Okay, up next, we have Housing Choice Houston. Is Housing Choice Houston back here?
I think part of my team just ran out because we didn't think we were going next. I can make it happen if we didn't make it happen.
Okay, we'll come back to you. How about do I want to eat there? All right, come on up here and we'll go back to Housing Choice Houston. The answer is yes, I do want to eat there, always. I'm always hungry.
Yeah, I'm going to say it up. Hi, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. So have you ever wanted to know if the restaurant you're going to eat at passed their most recent health inspection? No, you don't want to. But yeah, you kind of do. Well, here we go. So we took this from the City of Houston 2016 health report, and we plotted out the points. Each point is a restaurant, and the green are the ones that have passed, and the red are the ones that didn't. So yeah, this is from 2016. It's a Fusion table with a JavaScript front end, and we have this little search feature here. So you can, for example, look for Whataburger. Oh no, it's okay. I checked before. There's only one that failed, but most of the ones that. Yeah, you see, pass. I think it's the one in the airport. So, eat your Whataburger locally and then go to the airport. Don't wait till the last minute before you leave Houston to eat a Whataburger. So, So we got this working on front end with, yes sir, yes sir. Oh wait, look, pass, never mind. My apologies to the airport Whataburger for temporarily ruining the reputation. They're all right. Okay. So, in the future, what we want to do with this application is enhance its search features, because right now all we can do is search by restaurant name, and we also want to add a more robust back end so that people, when they search for the restaurant, they can find whether they passed, failed, and the details. We also want to reach out to the health department to clarify some of the information, because it's a little obtuse. They give us a risk rating, an inspection score, and We don't know what that means. And we definitely want to know what that means and implement it on this application for the future. Time's up. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Fantastic. Looking backwards to Housing Choice Houston. Is Housing Choice Houston ready? All right, come on up here, Housing Choice Houston. I'll get you loaded up. Where are we? Oh, did I miss it? There it is.
We have a diverse group of 16 people on our team. We're very excited to present with you today. One of the reasons that we decided this topic, Katie's going to explain for you. Okay.
So the basic gist of what we're trying to approach is we're trying to streamline the voucher system for public housing in Houston. One of the reasons for this is because there are 43,000 people on the wait list for housing vouchers, and we recently have found $46 million in public funds that are available for public housing. But there's a lot of improvements that can be made to the system, and when you have high opportunity housing, you create opportunities for a person's entire life. And we want to do that here in Houston, a city that we all love. So from here, to tell you a little bit more about the product we've created, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nick.
Is this queued up for audio?
It is not.
I got the notes.
Okay.
There you go.
Houston Choice Houston equals greater access to affordable housing. Our app systemizes disaggregated, paper-driven processes. Mayor Turner and the council members are responding to Houston Chronicle's investigation of how Houston's low-income housing fund is struggling to meet its mission. While Houston has collected a lot of money, some of the investigations show there's little to show for it. Now, with that money, that's an opportunity to address the 43,000 families that are now on the waiting list for subsidized housing. Houston's affordable housing conditions are ripe for tech disruption. And Housing Choice Houston is a centralized platform that provides tracking, accountability, and transparency to make sure, as Tom McCaslin, who heads Houston's affordable housing programs, has said, an affordable home is not something that you can hit the lottery for. Our platform provides solutions for property owners, many of who come from Houston Apartment Association, an integrated, digitized application, streamline access to tenants and advisors, easy access to incentive programs to encourage buy-in, support for tenant services and repairs, a revenue and compliance scorecard for affordable housing, and smoother placement for voucher recipients. For voucher applicants, an easy, searchable database of high-opportunity housing units, shorter wait times for voucher approval, and a platform for family empowerment. For the City of Houston, that offers decreased administrative costs, greater social capital, property utilization, and community collaboration. Since there is no reliable list of affordable housing, 30 seconds. Keep talking. We learned from research how powerfully our app, Houston Choice Houston, will make a big impact on affordable housing access, the overall economy, and how the innovations from our minimum viable product will disrupt the way affordable housing is used for social change.
And what Christina is showing you right now is a little bit of our platform. Sorry you couldn't see that in the video that was coming up again. But again, this is a streamlined process that's meant to go from top to bottom. Sorry! But streamlined process from top to bottom, from paperwork, from application, to finding a unit, to getting that unit repaired so it's up to city code. This is the way that we're going to improve this particular system in the city of Houston and give people opportunities for life.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Awesome. Housing is such an important issue, and I know that the mayor cares deeply about this. We have another housing project here. How about Houston Eviction Finder? Are you guys back in the room? All right, come on up here, Houston Eviction Finder. We're going to find some evictions. Maybe? All right. Hey, Christy. I also wanted to thank, Christy works for Tech for Justice, another nonprofit here in town that does all sorts of criminal justice technology, and it's really awesome. So,
Thank you.
sorry.
Oh. Wait, do I need this on here? Or? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna pull up that. Okay, hi, my name is Christy. This is Joanne. 3 of my teammates could not be here, but nonetheless, this is Houston Eviction Fighter. The tool is a solution to a problem that I had been studying for a while. Tenants are constantly taken advantage of by landlords. Evictions go unchallenged because the tenants do not understand their rights. So, me and my teammates studied why would something like this happen. What we found was that there was a lack of knowledge of a remedy existing. Not many people know the local court procedures. Many people do not have access to an attorney or do not know that legal aid can help them. So we were inspired by the Do Not Pay chatbot, which was created for users to appeal their own parking tickets. This bot is designed to help you understand your rights as a tenant and empower you to take action wherever there's an internet connection. So basically how the bot works is that it walks you through any questions you have in a very simple way. And currently we're looking at document generation options to generate letters, court filings, or if you need to get in contact with local legal aid.
All right, so our solution for this particular product was we did research, and we didn't find any for the Google and platforms. So what we did find doing our research, we found self-help guides for our research, but they was confusing alone, so we came up with the solution, the chat box. This is how the chat box is designed, using mind maps for questions and answers. We also use it for motion AI to build it. And this is we use GitHub, and the demo is basically how we used it. So you see how actual question, you click on it, say yes, and you just go from there.
I love the avatar.
Yeah, and I guess I'll add one more thing. Okay, so it's very simple. We hope to take this chatbot forward, finish the document generation features, and then put it to good use. We're also doing a version of this for Kentucky as well. So, thank you.
It's really great. Chatbots are like so trendy right now. They're so hot right now. But they're so useful. It's like TurboTax for eviction. All right, so up next, we have Need Hugh. Is Need Hugh here? All right, come on up here, Need Hugh. What do we have here? All right, thanks.
Thanks, Joe. All right, we have a big team. If you want, you can come on up. If you want to stay, I'll give you an opportunity to stand up and wave as well if you want. All right, come on up.
It's not the first time this team's gotten together either.
Yeah, this is the dream team. All right. Okay. So I want to start with sharing a couple stories with you, and I want you to try to imagine yourself in these situations. Imagine you're a woman with a child, and you don't know where you're going to sleep tonight. And you interact with someone at a food bank, and they tell you about a place nearby. You go there at night, ready, planning to sleep there, and you find out that they don't accept children at that place, and so you're stuck without a place to stay. Imagine another story where you're looking for food. You don't know where you're going to eat today. You're told about a place, and you travel at great cost to you across town to this place and find out they only serve food on Sundays. It's a Tuesday today. These types of experiences are common and experienced by people in our city every day. When people experience these frustrations, they are left feeling hopeless and like there are no services available to them. And that's really unfortunate because there are over 400 service providers in the greater city of Houston area. And these service providers are working every day to try to provide these services and meet all of these different needs. So what do we do about this? The current problem, as I described it, is that a lot of service providers really don't have access to that information, that relevant information about eligibility, about hours of operation, about other service providers, right? They're focused on their own services and trying to meet the needs of the people that they're interacting with day to day. The solution we proposed is to focus on connecting the service providers to each other, providing a database that's going to allow them to have easy access to that information. We'll show you some examples of what the access looks like. But first, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the database and API, I'll take a moment now to do that and tell you that we're actually focused on getting the data pulled together. Other databases exist that list service providers. Those databases have some issues. They get out of date very quickly. There's no good interface for them. There's no accountable party that's really focused on making sure that all of the different range of services are represented in the database. Just to define the term service provider, we're talking about government and nonprofit locations that are meeting needs like food insecurity, people who are displaced and need shelter, victims of human trafficking, victims of sexual assault and other needs like that. So we built a database, but first we started with a prototype. Is Natasha? Natasha's here. Okay. So Natasha runs a drop-in center called The Landing, previously called Sojourn Landing. It's a drop-in center for victims of human trafficking. It's an incredible place. She shared with me this prototype of what this system would look like, how we would represent all of this information together. And based on this prototype, we went and built this system, multi-part system. The multi-part system has the API connects all of the pieces, but based on those, there are different views that meet needs. So for example, we'll start on the left here, the foundations that are trying to fund these different groups or that are trying to fund services to meet these needs may need a view that tells them where the underserved areas are and what they should invest in. Service providers may need a view so that when they're interacting with somebody, they can give, I'm already out of time, wow. When they're interacting with somebody, they can give good referrals. End users, these are people who are looking for help for themselves. And Samaritans, these are people who interact with somebody in need on the street and want to be able to make a good referral for them on site. So we can build all of those things. We have some very beautiful views, so I'm just going to scroll through them while you clap for me. Thank you.
That was awesome. That's really awesome. All right. I like the logo and design. It seems like you guys have some designers on your teams. If you have City of Houston employees on your team, please let us know. Carla is with Houston Police Department and is pretty awesome. So. Up next, we have the predictive maintenance app. This is some cool stuff. Predictive maintenance, are y'all here? All right, Dante, come on up here.
Thank you, Jeff.
Not now.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, everybody. The city of Houston has a fleet. It has 12,000 vehicles, and what we want to do with this app is pretty much do predictive maintenance, like change the spark plugs, change the oil when you need them, and not ahead of time or too late that you're spending too much money. So we want to lower maintenance and reduce repairs, increase the life cycle of the vehicle, and just as an FYI, the City of Houston created more than 2,000 work orders for tow trucks for their units, which is about $300,000 just to move the vehicle. So we're spending about almost $2 million in maintenance, and this is a breakdown of the brand of vehicle. Ford taking the most amount of vehicles, about 50%. But where we're going after this is, like, how much are we spending per vehicle? We're spending about $5,000 for the lightweight vehicles and about almost $8,000 for the trucks. That's, I don't want to have one of those cars. But we're spending about a little bit more than $1 million in labor and almost $1 million in parts. So what we want to do is, what we're doing is, based on the data that we got, the data is pretty much how much are we spending for maintenance. We don't have the detail based on the data that we have. So if we look at the vehicles we have, we're going to concentrate just on the Fords, and this is how much we have spent in maintenance. And there are about 300 vehicles. I'm going to remove the 5 vehicles out of there. Right now, we're estimating that you're going to be spending about $72,000 in maintenance per month. If we remove those 5 vehicles, you're going to be spending $50,000 per month. That's a drop of $20,000 per month. That's about $200,000. That's just looking at 5 vehicles. If we take a look at the trucks, we have about 30. We're going to be spending about $50,000 per month just to maintain them. If we remove one of those trucks, we drop it to $10,000. That's another savings of $30,000. This is looking at the high level. This is scratching the surface. So what are the next steps? So just a couple of pointers. By addressing 0.06% of your assets, you have 15% savings. So what we want to do is go down to the detail of the vehicle, the spark plug, the oil change. We should be hitting about 30% savings. Thank you very much. It goes fast.
So good. Dante said to me the other day, I want to do something around predicting fleet. And I was like, how does this happen? How do you do this? And that's so awesome, so good. Up next, we have the Adopt a Drain team. Adopt a Drain, come on up here. All right. Come on up here, Adopt a Drain.
Hello, everyone. And Houston Adopt a Storm Drain project basically is to help people that live in the city of Houston, because adopting a drain effectively means that in order for the rain in Houston to not affect everyone, we can't help that. Flooding affects everyone. And as you can see, if you spend any amount of time here in the city, you will notice that it does overflow. Now, we can't do anything about the weather so far, but we can deal with how things affect the city of Houston and how we can deal with it. So we have storm drains that are in and throughout the entire Houston. We have literally tens of thousands of individual storm drains. The city provides us with this open data that allows us to see exactly where they are and where their location is as far as that go. These are examples of what they look like. Either here where they're a little bit raised above ground, right at ground level, or even right here what you might see right outside. Now, we have the ability to narrow down exactly where they are and adopt our local neighborhood storm drains. Now, the storm drains that you see outside of your house or outside of where your workplace is, most of the time they're open, but there are some storm drains that are clogged. Now, as a regular person walking down the street, you would be loath to try to reach down and grab some of that trash and pull it up. Let's just be honest, okay? But with this adoption program, if you live across the street from a drain, it is in your direct interest to make sure it's clear. On a regular day, you won't pay much attention to it. But if a storm is coming, you would be more likely to say, hey, let me put on some gloves and grab a trash bag and clear that out. So now, how would we do that? What we would end up doing is we would facilitate that by attaching to the local public database, which I will stop pointing, and the local database would then allow us to reflect on our database, where we would overlay what they have with what we need. Individuals' names, addresses. That way, this person would be able to say, well, I want this drain next to my house and that drain next to my job, and I would adopt it and just make sure that whenever we need it, we would be able to then clear it out. There are a few prototypes available. We would be able to see overall, like on this website here, what's available. And then the one on the bottom, we would actually be able to go ahead and recruit and get that one going. Marketing, how would we get the word out? 311 website. There's a Clear Water, Clear Choice program that's available already. Social media, local civic organizations, and water bill inserts. Volunteers are the core principle of how we get this going. And we could have local companies provide discounts for equipment that would be needed. And volunteers make all the difference. And we do, in fact, have wonderful City of Houston employees that are on the team. Thank you very much.
That's super. What I think is really cool is that, you know, if you adopt a drain and there's a storm coming, the city can communicate with you and say, hey, get outside, clear that drain. All right, up next, we have predictive analytics for smart cities. Is predictive analytics for smart cities here? Going once. Going twice. All right, moving on. How about Rep My City? Is Rep My City here? No? Yeah? All right. Come on back here, Rep My City. Where are we? Did I pass it?
It's at the top.
Oh, okay. There we go. Give him hell no.
All right. So I just have a video for you guys of the product. So I go to school in Maine, and one of the things that was really important about Maine during the election cycle was that everybody was talking about this one senator who was voting on getting the induction of Betsy DeVos. And everyone's telling us, contact your representative to get them accountable so that they don't elect this person. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. She still got her position. But the thing is that I realized at this moment that we can mobilize and use this information of voting patterns as a means to hold our representatives accountable. And they've done that through the US Congress Census API. They have the Congress API where you can track how your Congress members are voting, but there's nothing that does that on the local level, in part because our local representatives are very amazing people and do a very good job at the city. But the other thing that makes it difficult is the fact that they're all in PDFs. So what happens is once every Tuesday, you have about 60 things that are being passed at one particular time, and then the next week comes over. So what I built was a website called Rep My City. Rep My City allows for you to track basically what things are being passed. So this is a list of most of the motions that are passed. You can see all the representatives. If you were to click the representative, it'll tell you what they voted over the past time. Once you click an ordinance, it tells you what the thing was being voted upon and the votes that were casted. They're also tagged so that if you click one, you can find ones that are similar based off of that information. And that basically allows for you to understand what issues you're interested in. If I'm interested in education, I can see what bills that are being passed in education and see who voted on them and how they voted on them. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Awesome. And Niall is somebody who's not a hackathon novice. This is not his first rodeo. Hugh Booklink. Hugh Booklink. All right, come on up here, Hugh Booklink. I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm excited about all of them, but where are we? There we go. No one needs to see my Vice News. Do you know the URL? Or do you need to copy it? Okay.
Ready? Okay. So we're Houston Booklink, and we sought out. We're Houston Booklink, and we sought to improve Houston's public libraries. So Houston has two public library systems. There's the there's the Houston Public Library, and then there's the Harris County Public Library. Together they serve around over 4.2 million people, and they circulate around 15 million titles. But the separation of the two library systems causes problems, especially when you're trying to use the online resources and services. One big problem is that when you're searching for a particular title, there's no way to look through both library databases at the same time.
Thank you. So this weekend we built Houston Booklink, which enables users to search both libraries from one place. You don't have to go for each one individually, but we also took it one step further because we feel that online content like ebooks and audiobooks are especially valuable for individuals with disabilities. So we made sure this was 100% web accessibility compliant. This is a major issue, and it's actually federally mandated. For example, the Harris County Library homepage has 69 violations. The Houston Library homepage has 29, and the Overdrive page has 143. And that's the only way to access this content. So Houston Booklink not only allows you to search for books, it's up and running. Right now you can search both libraries, but it's 100% web accessibility compliant.
So keeping in mind accessibility and simplicity, this is what we produced this weekend. So if you go to the website, you can select the library cards that you have, Houston Public Library, Harris County Library, and start searching. This is real data. We pulled from Overdrive, which is a service that both library systems use. So it only searches ebooks and audiobooks now. We'll take it for a spin. My favorite, Harry Potter. So it's showing us a pretty simple view of which ebooks, and we can search audiobooks, are currently available. We have provided links to the Overdrive system. We have future ideas for building that up and allowing you to check out, return, and place holds from the site, but for now you need to go to the Overdrive system. You can also, if you only have one library card, one system, on our resources page we have links to get another card, but from the search you can simply turn off the card that you don't have, and it'll research for you and show you only audiobooks or ebooks that you can check out with your card. So going forward, we have a lot of great ideas. Like I said, we'd like to include the capability to check out, return, and place holds. We'd also like to enhance our search, as well as integrate more services, potentially physical books, other services that the libraries provide like Hoopla and Linda, and there are even more area library systems. And so we are hoping to continue collaborating on this project. Thanks.
Thank you.
There's so many things that both the city and the county do, you know, and they do them well, but they're just not linked together, and so I love that project. That's so great. Up next, we have Civic Airbnb, working with a new data set. Pretty exciting. All right, Civic Airbnb.
Hi everyone, my name is Ed Pettit. I'm here with my teammates Dee Dee Wee and Grace Welty, and we are Civic Airbnb. So the challenges we looked at were really based around gentrification. As you see by this map here, this arrow of affluence is moving eastward across the city, and these salmon-colored areas are the neighborhoods most at risk of becoming gentrified in the next few years. And you can see this is around the area of 5th Ward, 3rd Ward, 2nd Ward, 3rd Ward, and along with that gentrification comes what? Increased property taxes, increased evictions, and increased displacement. So we asked ourselves, can home sharing be part of the solution to this? And so the methods we used was we did data analysis. We actually scraped this data off Airbnb publicly for the first time. And we also looked at GIS mapping using the shapefiles for the super neighborhoods. And we performed a number of data visualizations and also an analysis of hotel occupancy tax, which you'll see next.
So what we did here is we categorized all these data sets into like about almost 90 Houston neighborhoods. And then as you can see here, this is a Gaussian distribution to show which neighborhoods has the most home sharing listings. And then next, we also categorized the listings by room type. For example, entire home, private home, shared room, which one are they more likely to rent out by the neighborhoods. And next, we put this on a geospatial data, GIS, looking at where these listings are. And then as you can see, that there are gaps within at least within the Houston, like in the loop. You can see that the areas that are red are most likely to be gentrified, which also has the lowest density of home sharing listings. And then I'll pass it on to Grace.
So using Tableau, we analyzed the data set, and one of the key takeaways that we calculated was with the hotel occupancy tax that was implemented in Houston just last month, the city of Houston can benefit from home sharing like Airbnb with an estimated average monthly tax revenue of $4.5 million. And on this slide, with this bubble graph, we've broken it out into neighborhoods, and you can actually see that like Washington, the Memorial Park area brings in the highest average tax rate per month.
And so, in summary, super neighborhoods at greatest risk of gentrification and increased property taxes currently have the lowest density of home sharing, but this means they also have the greatest potential for revenue creation to prevent resident displacement. Think of an elderly homeowner renting out some rooms upstairs. The newly implemented hotel occupancy tax collection will increase revenue for municipal investments, so that's a great plus. And also the home sharing data visualizations that we've done show that you can get novel insights into the behaviors and preferences of our city's visitors. So the next steps include comparing and contrasting home sharing trends with traditional hotel usage in Houston, exploring average daily revenue based on various indicators like census tracts and race, examining stock quantity and ADR by different districts, and interfacing home sharing with different civic programs like Hire Houston Youth. Thank you very much. We are Civic Airbnb.
So I just want to take a moment and introduce you to the judges real quick. I'm going to flow down this line here because they're all pretty awesome people. To start, we have Phil Jackson of cPanel. Whoa, sorry, my bad. cPanel is our title sponsor for the Hackathon. They're an incredible company. They're based here in Houston. They power 1/3 of the internet. It's kind of amazing. It's a sleeper. Yeah. We have Steve Costello, who is the mayor's flood czar and engineer extraordinaire. We have Jesse Bounds, the Director of Performance Improvement and Innovation for the City of Houston. We have Sindhu Menon, who is the Enterprise Data Officer for the City of Houston. We have Michelle Price, who is the host of Startup Grind Houston, one of our great conveners for startups here in Houston. We have Amanda Tim, who is the Executive Director of LISC Houston. They're the guys behind the guy, or the gals behind the gals, who do all sorts of community development. Really great organization. We have Larry Payne, who is a man who needs no introduction, but he is truly the heart of Houston. He's a great man. Larry Payne. And one of my favorite people on the planet, Brian Dorton, who is the executive, or the, what do we call you, the school principal? School principal for the Iron Yard Houston. So if you want to learn how to code, talk to that guy. Awesome. How about driver scan? Is driver scan here? Come on up here, driver scan. All right. We randomized it. They're making their way up here. All right. Take your time, guys. Just kidding.
Don't actually take your time, is what he's saying.
If you open the Google Sheets at the top there. Yeah. Or Google Slides, sorry. And then tap over to that one. We might have to go back to the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go. All right, so.
It's upper right.
Upper right, okay. All right, so we're presenting an app called Driver Scan. It's an app designed to keep drivers' eyes on the road in dangerous areas. Distracted driving has, with the advent of cell phones and all sorts of personal portable devices, become a massive problem in the United States. According to the NHTSA in 2015, almost 3,500 drivers were killed by distracted driving, and almost 400,000 were injured. And during daylight hours, approximately 660,000 drivers are using cell phones while driving. That creates an enormous potential for deaths and injuries on U.S. roads, and thus a massive increase in loss of life for U.S. citizens. And the solution to this problem that we came up with was just to get drivers' attention. The purpose of Driver Scan is to provide a voice alert when a driver enters a high-risk area. So what we did was we took 26,000 car accidents from TxDOT's CRIS data system, every car accident that had GPS coordinates over the last 7 years, and we ran them through a clustering algorithm that returned 20 clusters from which roughly 43% of accidents originated. And from there, we can detect, using your phone's geolocation data, when an app user is approaching a area with a high rate of collisions. So this was ultimately what the data ended up looking like. All of those green areas, that red area, those are the areas we're going to alert you when you're entering. So as a suburbanite, I know that 610 and 45 interchange going northbound, not great. Pretty much the bane of my existence as somebody who lives in Southwest Houston. Same with Beltway 8. And I think the data's pretty clear on what driving downtown looks like. We all had to get here somewhere. You guys know how that works, right? So with our app, what we can do is we can inform you to keep your head up when you are driving through those areas, even if you don't already have experience driving through downtown or the 6959 West Park Tollway interchange. And that will help keep drivers alert and keep them aware of what's going on around them and hopefully reduce the number of accidents in these areas. And the next possible steps for this, we already have a functioning app for Android. The next logical step would be to expand that to iOS. We could also incorporate functionality for pedestrians, incorporating crime data such that we can tell pedestrians when they are also entering a dangerous area. We can improve voice alerts telling them specifically how dangerous an area is, and we can obviously extend to other cities. And that's time, so.
Gosh, that's amazing. It's so amazing to see people work all night and then get up and present a coherent sentence. I can't do that. I'm too old for that. All right, so up next, we have EQ Mind. Is EQ Mind in the audience? All right, come on up here, EQ Mind. Make your way on up here. All of these project presentations are available online so that you can look at all these demos and presentations, as well as we're live streaming this so that you can see all the greatest hits at your leisure. All right. It's a big team.
Hi, so we're EQ Mind, and we want to develop an app that aims to balance student minds and schools to cope better with life problems. So, some background info. 50% of lifetime mental illness begins by the age 14. Specifically in Harris County, 20% of children suffer from mental illness, but only 26% of these children actually receive treatment. Another challenge is that pre-existing mental health tech resources and applications cost money. So through research in this hackathon, we got this understanding that there's a lack of education about mental illness for early identification of other health issues that lead to things like academic underachievement, dropouts, and suicide. So we got together and we really thought about, how do we help schools provide appropriate levels of mental health services and resources so we can destigmatize mental health issues. So besides just looking at the student, we really wanted to create a framework that also incorporates the school and the clinician.
So in addition to the objective we outlined in the previous slide, we're really driven by 3 core pillars for our program. We want the program to keep students accountable, we want it to be accessible for them, and we want it to help them really grow and develop as individuals. And then foundationally, we also want to have a program that's easy, fun, and simple, not terribly complicated. And we also want it to be respectful of their privacy and keeping it confidential. So for our solution, this is really just, we're thinking of it as multiple phases, but the first phase would be a light mobile application program with a structured program in school where every day for 10 minutes you'd be doing a daily reflection using the mobile app. And I talked to you earlier about accessibility and development, and those are the 4 pillars here. Those are the pillars that are reflected here in the functionality: emotional journaling, mood tracking, skills builder, and guidebooks. So what would this look like? So we've mocked up 2 sample storyboards, one from the student perspective and one from the counselor perspective. So for the first perspective, this is the student. This is our user, John, and he's having a tough day or a tough week because coursework is piling up and his girlfriend just broke up with him and he doesn't know why. And so it's the time for the daily 10-minute reflection app. So he's talking about how he's feeling horrible. And here is the emotional journaling where we really want him to express how he's feeling and why he's feeling that way. These are some activities that he can do. Hopefully he does them. And then this also aggregates the data that the app is pulling to show how he's actually feeling. And then hopefully over time, he'll feel great. We're a little short in time here, so I'm going to speed through this. So as a counselor, the counselor has a view of how the class is doing, who's at risk, week over week, month over month trends, thinking about individually if there's a particular student who's doing poorly, why are they doing poorly? Can you correlate that to academic performance as well? And then that gives the data for the counselor to intervene and speak to the student and hopefully lead to better outcomes. Thank you.
Wish somebody taught me social skills in school. All right. Let's close this. Up next, we have Houston Incidents Map. David, come on up here, my friend. David has been working on this project for a while. Is this in here? A hand for David. This is an app that's used. I just want to pull it up online. Is it in here, or is it? Should be. Oh, there it is. David's been working on this for a while, and this is he's made some improvements here at the hackathon. It's an incredible resource. Reddit loves it.
I'm David Wilson. This is my project. I started this about 3 years ago when I was planning to attend the Houston Hackathon. I didn't actually attend that year, but I built something anyway. So on the Houston data portal, something really caught my interest. A data feed of active emergency incidents happening throughout the city, provided by the city of Houston. Anything from fires to automobile accidents, stuck elevators, a lot of water rescues when it's flooding, a little bit of everything. And I thought, what better way to present it than on a map so you can easily see what is happening where. Well, about a year ago, I was contacted by a few firefighters working right here in Houston, and they reached out to me to thank me for building it, which just really threw me because I had, I built it because I was interested in it. I had no idea that what I had built could do some real good. And ever since, I have been focused on what I can do to make it more useful to firefighters and other first responders. And that's what I did during this hackathon. I added this additional map page with firefighters in mind. What we're looking at here is not only the active incidents that were already available on the main page of this web application, but also we have the shapes, the colored shapes drawn on the screen. Those are the fire districts here in Houston, with one district consisting of multiple fire stations. So we have districts, the location and information about each fire station. And when you zoom in, the location and metadata about each fire hydrant maintained by the city of Houston. There are over 60,000, by the way. So all of this is built with the idea that a firefighter would be able to pull up this map to the location of an incident that they are en route to. They would be able to switch to satellite view to, for example, for a structure fire, they could, switch to satellite view, scope out the area, and, sort of plan the tactical approach that they're going to use when they get there. And now they'll be able to see visually the nearest hydrants and other points of interest. So for future development, I'm just going to continue incorporating as much feedback as I receive, particularly from firefighters and other first responders, and make this as useful for them as I possibly can. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. That's so awesome. All right. How y'all feeling? Feeling good? All right. Still got the energy? Fantastic. We have a few more presentations, and then the judges are going to deliberate. We're going to have some food. It's going to be great. Harry's Owl. Is Harry's Owl here? Come on up here, Harry's Owl. I have no idea what that is. I need to look at that. It's a cute name. That's right. It's a memorable name.
Unique.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gregory Mejia. I'm a high school student at Milby High School, and me and my team have been developing a website and hopefully going to be an app sooner or later. It's called Harry's Owl. It is actually basically the problem with City of Houston right now is majority of students not graduating high school. On Texas.gov, we researched and actually found that in 2015, there was over 12% of high school dropouts. And right of this year, from 2016 to 2017, there's probably, the number has estimatedly doubled in size. The solution we're trying to create with this website is to educate and also make learning fun, but also keep it serious. And with this website, we're trying to help the 4 basic groups of that students learn in school, like math, science, history, and English. These actually, towards the end of, towards this end of the final development, we're trying to get it up and running still, but right now it's a 3 simple step. Find the source you need, get to if it's good or not, vote on it, and it'll tell us, okay, we need to find more research like this or not. And the 3rd step is basically going to be a fun activity with it. Now, later on, we're also going to have in-app tutoring to where we can actually interact with students and have students cooperate with each other, see which sources are better, see what notes they can pass around. This is all around Houston that this problem is coming around, and I have this problem. That's basically where it comes from. I'm going to pass it over to my other teammate, Marco.
Hi, everyone. So this website integrates a study forum where students can upload resources. They can talk about any specific subjects or topics they're struggling with. We also will have a tutoring page where students can host a video conference and teach their peers, which I think is a great idea because they're not only teaching, they're also learning at the same time. We also will have a point-based ranking system that encourages students to help others and contribute to the community. Also, students will be able to create quizzes and so that they can quiz themselves and they're able to prepare for any exam they have coming up. I think Houston High School students will learn a lot from this, and also because they're going to be able to learn at their own pace. Thank you. And we also, I think we have a demo.
So this is what we have so far, prototyped out this weekend from, it's basically kind of like Reddit where people can, students, as they find resources that they find helpful, they'll post it on the site and then they'll be able to have it be tagged based on the subject that it's related to automatically, and then also students will vote, and so the best resources will rise to the top so that whenever I want to learn something, I know what I can look at. So, thank you.
I sound like a broken record, but all of my favorite people in the world are here at the Hackathon. And that includes Amanda, who runs an organization called Code Park that teaches kids how to code, and they work with the Houston Public Library and Houston Independent School District. So if you see Code Park somewhere, that's what it is. It's really innovative and groundbreaking. All right, we're coming into the home stretch here. We've got Pear. Is Pear in the room? Pear, come on up here, Pear. All right. Yeah. Yes. Or is this bottom link that you're doing it, Chrome?
Yes. Whoa. Oh, you gotta run the server. You gotta run the server. Go to Cloud9. No, go to port number 8081.
All right, there we go. Hello, today we're presenting PAIR, that's short for polluted air. So for Houston, the American Lung Association comes out every year with a State of the Air report. And as much as we love this city, Houston was rated 12th most polluted for ozone, as well as the 16th worst city in terms of pollution. And with over 500,000 Houstonians recorded with asthma, that can be a real dangerous environment for them to inhabit. School children miss out on days of school because they can't go out. Adults miss out on work, and that's a real hindrance to the quality of life. So right now, we made a progressive web app to allow us to track users' location using the Google Maps API and using already stated air quality sensors inside the city of Houston. And we pull information from that to allow us to track current pollution levels and as well as rate them in quantifiable thresholds. So as you can see with the happy smiley face for the sun, that's a safe threshold. If you look to the east, we have a flat line, and that'll just represent that you should be concerned pollution's rising are raising past a certain threshold. And we have a frowny face, which thankfully isn't displayed today, which means that certain pollutants are past normal toxicity levels that are deemed unsafe for most people to be exposed by. And so this is the home screen, this is the most important. And this is just to allow people who would be subjected to these to be able to avoid that as well as stay inside. But avoiding the issue is not the best way to deal with it. This app will also allow you to take action, and whenever you come across a section where you have over a certain threshold, it'll direct you and expedite the process so you can file a complaint to the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality, because making these complaints will allow us to raise the issue, and action is the best way to get the issue resolved, especially at a state level. You can also contact your state representative, which will have a link posted right there, just to let them know about it. And for us, it'll be our state senator, Ted Cruz. As well as this, we want to allow users to have a quick access to safety. Because we have many potential pollutants, for our demo we do have today tracking benzene and toluene. It'll just have safety issues that are related to that particular pollutant and ways you can keep yourself safe as well as avoid exposure, such as don't exercise near traffic, and such as that. As well as you can see what the EPA is currently doing, and it'll just have hot links that redirect you. We also have a database of greenhouse gases based off what's presented today, as what else is presented based off the current toxicity. So for here we have benzene, and it just gives a description, the effects of benzene on your health, the sources of where they come from, and we also link it for more information. We actually go to the Houston Air Alliance website where they'll have more detailed information about the particular pollutant that you would be potentially facing based off your location as well as the day. And we also, not only does it record based off where you are currently, our application also sends push notifications. We do have service workers in our applications which will refresh data at a 10-minute interval, and that just allows you to know when you're entering a toxic zone to prevent exposing yourself. Thank you for your time.
Just by show of hands, how many of y'all think that Houston should be able to regulate its own air quality? Well, then you should join Air Alliance Houston and write your senators and let them know that TCEQ, which is a state agency, should give Houston its ability to regulate air quality, because we can. How about chronological crime clustering, triple C? Chronological crime, come on back up here. All right. Where are we? All right. Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi guys. So this weekend we worked on a form of clustering crime data in Houston in order to get a better sense of kind of the, in order to predict and get a better sense for crime activity in Houston, not only on a location basis, but also on a temporal basis. and we'd just like to show you the results of our study. So a quick background of our motive and our intention. Most crime data analysis comes down to like heat maps and other sorts of criminal activity marking and monitoring. But even though that gives law enforcement a pretty good idea of the physical whereabouts of crime in a city in a given time period, it's often neglecting the temporal aspect of time of criminal activity in that it doesn't look at hourly and even more granular effects of time on criminal activity. And in addition, those types of heat maps also have a tendency to stifle understanding of where crime actually occurs. You can see here this map tends to use it uses a form of extrapolation within the algorithm that forms kind of these clusters that aren't truly representative of where crime happens. It tends to highlight a huge area, whereas like crime will be located in a specific central location. So we preferred a form of cluster analysis that kind of deviates toward mean areas within locations and tries to do the same for time. Essentially, our goal is to create a smart application of data analysis and visualization to effectively and cost efficiently provide Houston police officials with the appropriate tools to make good decisions with regard to crime monitoring and tracking, as well as to make good preventative measures of crime monitoring. What's central to this objective is the clarity and interpretability of the visualization. So this is a quick summary of our approach. We basically used a k-means unsupervised machine learning clustering algorithm to form clusters of crime over the last 2 months in Houston. And Ashwin will talk about the advantages and the results of our model.
So the advantages is like we not only take the geographical location into consideration, but also the time of crime. So this gives us, so based on the time, different areas could be determined as unsafe as well. So we take that into consideration. Here we could see, this is the raw estimation of all the crimes that happen in the city. So based on this, we have marked some points which have a high density of crimes. On the map, we could see, like this is this is the snapshot of 2 different time intervals. From 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., these areas are potentially unsafe areas. But as we move to the evening, the unsafe areas could change, and that is what is reflected in our data, reflected by our algorithm. Again, this is we have again. So this is again the raw estimation, determination of the data.
Throw up an equation on the screen and I'm sold. All right. So up next, we're coming into the home stretch here. How about the Houston Crime Dashboard? Houston Crime Dashboard? Awesome. Come on up here, Kurt. Kurt is a City of Houston employee. Where were we? There it is.
So that was the grad school edition, and mine is the kindergarten version of the crime analysis. So besides just trying to score cheap points, this is why I chose to do this a certain way. I have a newborn, 2 months old, and I didn't really have a lot of time to get something done, so I wanted a project that I could do really quickly. It took me about 3 or 4 hours. So what I ended up using was Tableau to build a dashboard on crime data. We use this crime data at the City of Houston. We publish it, or we give it to a crime-something.com. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, and so they basically create this map, and you can type in your address, and you can see really granular, like, oh, there's a crime that happened here next to my house, here's what it was, and all these kinds of things. This is more of a high level, taking that data and trying to give a more a broader view of what the trends are saying and all that. So you can really clearly see these circles here represent each of the districts that the crime is measured in. The number there is the crimes per 1,000 residents in that district. And so you can sort of go through and see the trends in your neighborhood. As the guys before me were mentioning, there's a temporal aspect to this, and that's what this is here to represent. You can see the hours broken down in the histogram, so that's the number of crimes during the 6-month period that have happened during that hours. And then here, it's the days of the week. And so you can sort of see this period of between like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., there's sort of a smiley face version. So what that means is there's higher crime on the weekends around that time. Obviously, it's like prime drinking hours. And so that's really what's driving a lot of that. You can also, if you want, you can look at it by crime type. And so a really good example of that is you can see on the right here, the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. for aggravated assault is very, very, oh boy. Well, you could see it if it was working. Varied. Basically, a lot more aggravated assault is happening during the hours of basically 10 p.m. until 4 a.m. Where I want to go with this, I tried to get it done this morning, I didn't get to it, but I want to integrate this with budget data so you can start to see the trends of crime and how we're responding to that with our budget and saying, if crime is happening more here or in this specific type of crime, are we moving investment into different types of activity that we're doing as the city to try to fight that crime itself. So that's sort of what I went through, and that's where I'm going. But thanks for your time.
That looks so cool. I love all the colors. That's a cute kid. All right. Let's get back here for a second. Okay, up next we have Houston Helps. Is Houston Helps in the house? Houston Helps. All right, Houston Helps, come on up. And I'm not sure if we skipped over anybody, but everybody who submitted will have a chance to present. And the final one is a really good surprise for the back of the room.
Hey guys, imagine if you are a refugee from a war-torn country and you just landed in Houston, Texas, with the clothes on your back, no bed, no dishes to eat in, no cookware. What do? Imagine if you are a blessed individual who has things to give and would like to help these individuals. What would you do? Imagine if you are a case manager and you would like to connect the people in need with the resources. What would you do? Now, Houston has just become the country's most welcoming city for refugees. Recently, Texas helped resettle over 2,500 refugees in 2016. So one way we can make them feel more welcome is through Houston Helps, connecting in-kind donors with local nonprofits. So what it is it helps local nonprofits easily find donated items and connects it to people who need it. How it works is, well, let me start by saying Craigslist does not have an API. So what we had to do is find all the items on there that are, people don't want, and we put it in a really clean, concise manner and turned it into a product which case managers can access in order to find items that refugees or really anybody in need may need. So here's a video demonstration of our product. So there's a form that a donor would fill out. It's very simple: name, address, simple contact that we can reach them at, and an image of the item that they're trying to donate. This is really great because they don't have to just go on Craigslist and kind of post it. You don't know who randomly is going to contact you. It's going to go to a person who needs it. A case manager now would go on the website, and we have everything categorized. For instance, they want to look at appliances for somebody, if they just moved here, they need a washer, dryer, they can go through that. And we also have it in a mobile-friendly format, so in case they're on the go, refugees are settled in Houston, they don't have a bed, they're here, what do you do? Well, if there's any listings on Craigslist, they can easily access it, contact the person who's donating it, and help provide for their needs. Okay, so as we know, crime rate is directly related to a level of poverty in any community. So what this would do is help reduce the need for anybody to commit a crime. How it would help Houston is it would help refugees or just people in need in general really integrate with our culture, which would, the output would be less poverty and crime, better quality of life for everybody, right? There's lots of competitive advantages of our service. The biggest one that I want to talk about is privacy concerns with Craigslist and social media postings. If you put, I have a bed, I have a couch, come grab it. Well, if you're not at your house, somebody has malintentions, you know where this can lead to. And the fact that you know that this is going to go to someone that actually needs it instead of,
That's super cool. Organizing unorganized data sets is pretty incredible. So we have a special guest today. Councilmember Edwards is here. There she is. Would you like to come up here, Councilmember? Councilmember Edwards has been a driving force in Houston's formalization of its technology and innovation strategy, and I'm really excited that she's here. So how about a hand for Councilmember?
I just want to say very briefly how excited I am. I kind of snuck in today and seeing the innovation that's taking place from a grassroots level. It is so important that we support events like the Hackathon so that we can continue to see new ideas emerge into the mainstream. And so I could not be more excited, not only because of what's happening here at the Hackathon, but what's happening here in the Houston community. We're really building an innovation economy here, and we're really beginning to really get behind, and I say we, I mean all various sectors are getting behind really trying to make Houston a city of the future. And so thank you for playing your role, which is so vital and so critical in really building an innovation city. So thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. We've got a couple more here. Safe Hugh. Is Safe Hugh in the house? Come on up here, Safe Hugh. A hand for Safe Hugh. We're just gonna clap your hands for all. Yeah.
All right, so Safe Hugh, we're Safe Hugh, and let me open, give me a second. Okay. So Safe Hugh is really a mobile application we made that's used to predict criminal activity that's happening around Houston. So the main point of this is for people to know when they're going into areas that are having a high chance of having crime being committed there. So criminal hotspots. This is a screenshot from our app, so you can see we're using the Google Maps API, and we have a heat map going on, and we actually predict using a neural network, which we'll talk about later.
So here we have a few screenshots of our app. So in the first image, we see that we have an interactive heat map that you see when you first open up the app. So the lighter colors, aka the green, represents areas where the crime is lower, and the red is where the crimes are higher. So if you tap on the heat map and you select the category that you would like to see, you can see all the different crime rates that you have in that area.
The chance of those occurring in that area.
Yeah. And then the middle one is just the recent crimes that happen, and the last tab that we have is the emergency contacts for any users if they need to use those.
So why we chose this project? So we really wanted to We really wanted to help Houston. You know, crime is a big issue, and we want to help Houston using some cool technology like neural networks that we just started learning.
So the way we gather the data was, or the way we analyze the data to predict how likely crime is to occur, is by using a neural network, and it evolved over time. You can see how it evolved to see where crime is more likely to happen. Here's a visual representation of the neural network in action, and we broke it down by day and by the hour, so you can predict, like in the mornings, when certain crimes are more likely to happen. And if I go back, yeah, this is learning. Here's a demonstration of the app in action. What happens after we use the neural network to predict where the hotspots are going to be at the certain time, as you can see in the top left. Whenever you click on an area, it'll show you a radius in which how likely crime is to happen. So you can see if you're going to go to like this movie theater, you can see, oh, look at the bottom, there's been like a few auto thefts in the area, so you can know to watch out for that.
So we really want to take this further after this hackathon. So we want to work on an iOS version of this app, and we want to see if we can expand out of Houston, you know, start making this work in other places. And we also want to work with police to improve the data and the way how we're predicting the criminal activity. You got anything? No?
That's it. Thank you.
Let's talk about working together afterwards. That's great. That's so cool. Right. All right. Neighborhood. Is neighborhood in the audience? Come on up here, neighborhood. And was anybody, aside from Suckett, who is going to finish us up here, is anybody else's team submitted but has not been called? Has anybody wanted to present but did not get the chance to present yet? Excellent. Okay. You guys are neighborhood.
So this is my app. It's called Neighborhood, and it's a social empathy platform. So I know all of you have heard of the story of the Good Samaritan, where he saw an issue and he wanted to help, and he helped the person out. So this is basically what this app is for. We know that there is a big problem with socioeconomic segregation. This platform is to bridge that gap and to help people create one neighborhood where they care for each other. Here is a component of the app, is where you'll have a map. And in this map, you'll be able to visualize. Oh, shoot.
Don't let that count against you. Yeah, you're good. Don't worry. And not.
Yeah. So in this map, you'll be able to visualize information about Houston. And in this map here, you see income levels and crime statistics. As you can see in the map, is that there is a correlation between income level and the crime in particular areas. So here at the top, you can see that there is low income. And on that same section, you'll be able to see that there is a high level of crime as well. And with the app, by looking at apps and visualizing these types of things, you will say, what can I do to help improve this area?
You can just put it.
Okay, so different components. So you be able to create your own profile. And the next component is where you'll be able to post things, which will also show up on the app, on the map, sorry. And you'll be able to let people see what it's like to be in your shoes. And then there's also events. So one of the things that happen is people tend to go to the same events that's in their own neighborhood. If you can see the event that's on a map in a different neighborhood, you'll be able to be immersed in that culture and understand those people better. And another component is also volunteerism, where you'll be able to see what's going on in the map and see what I can do to help volunteer to improve that area. So this is an example of profile. You put in your information. You can also sync with things like social media, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, to also add information about where you are and your environment. And this is where you'll be able to post so people can see what it's like to be in your shoes. So if there's something good that's happening in your area, you say like, and I want to write about it. You can put a video or a picture, and you can also tag it. So if there's something like, okay, somebody invested a lot in my neighborhood, improved my education, I want to post that. Then people who donate, they can also see that their money is going to the right places and is working well in that environment. So these types of events that would happen. So another component will be like virtual reality. So you take virtual reality footage and then have people be able to see what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes. And that should also create more social empathy. Also bring about opportunities, volunteerism, cultural immersion, as I mentioned before. And then the data, so like Facebook, they take your data and use it for marketing purposes. I wanted to see your data to allow nonprofits, policymakers, people who want to donate to see what's going on in your area and to help improve that particular environment.
And Mike was great. Mike is the solutions engineer for Houston's Esri team, and he's been great in this hackathon, helping out. We have one more presentation. It's Socket. There he is. Awesome. I'm going to let him plug in. Is it hanging back there still?
Yeah.
So there's a piece of hardware back there that hanging from the door.
Can I have everyone like clear out from the area over there?
Just the door threshold. Just keep the threshold clear.
Or is it? Yeah, I plugged it in.
In your settings?
Oh, this isn't mine after all.
Okay. Display.
Is it this cable?
Yeah, it might be that cable. No, actually, it is this cable. Chuck, can you give us a hand? We plugged in the HDMI, but it doesn't seem to be going to the...
Are you sure it's outputting?
I'm not sure.
Almost always.
It's not my computer. Do you know what it might be?
No, I'm not sure.
Here's another thing we can try. Native server. I think I just froze your computer.
Or it's not mine, it's not.
There we go. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see here. So, we might just have to
Yeah, I just get the guy.
Okay. Don't buy this. This is not going to be high tech. It's going to be low tech. No HDMI. All right, take it away, my friend.
All right. Hi, I'm Saket. I'm a high schooler, and my project is based on the Raspberry Pi and a Barbot. It's a antenna array. It has 18 antennas, and it can basically detect objects near and far away by reflection. So what I did was I noticed I go to events such as I volunteer in the community, and for New Year's Eve I volunteered, and they made me count how many people were coming in at the gate, and I spent 4 hours just looking around and counting people, and they wouldn't even let us take breaks because they wanted an accurate count. And I bet other people at other gates weren't even dedicated. So basically what I'm trying to do is I made a device which can detect people walking in and exiting a room. So in this room I put a sensor over there on the main door which shows which can detect someone coming in and out. And I have Finup who let me use a laptop because I left mine at home accidentally. So he's going to be helping me demo. So I'm going to run the program right now. So
It's telling him if you're coming in or out of the room.
I'm just making sure no one's near the door. Okay. No one's near the door, right? So I had to calibrate the sensor first. Okay. Okay. Okay, is no one near? Okay. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to run the program now. It's calibrated. Okay, it's ready. So my friend over there is basically going to do it. I can show you two judges. You can see that he just left. So he left the room. Hold it up. It was 149. I just put in a number 150. I just guessed 150. So he just left the room. Now can you come? Oh, he came back in. Get out. So basically, this also sends it to my phone. So, I was just trying to do that. This phone, it shows that when you first left, it says someone has left the room. It basically can think, the first test case, if you exit the room, it says as enter, and then right back.
That's your hackathon. Round of applause for All right, so what's going to happen now? Good question, right? So the judges are going to go back into the judges' room, and they're going to do judgy things, and they're going to judge you, and then they're going to decide who the top 3 winners are. Here's the prize. If you are one of the top 3 winners, you get to meet with the mayor in about a month or so. We're going to figure it out with his schedule. But you're going to get to meet with the mayor and talk more about your projects. So why don't you all hang tight for a few minutes. We're going to reconvene here in about 15 minutes or so as the judges make their decisions. What you can do is pick up trash. Picking up trash is I got you, Deborah. Hang on. Picking up trash is extremely helpful. So here are some things that you can do. You can eat the food. We need to run out of food. We're not taking this food home. Number 2, you can pick up the trash. Number 3, you can help stack chairs. You can find volunteers. And you can really just help us clean this place up. Deborah, did you? All right, fantastic. Awesome. So we'll be back with you in a few minutes. Oh, I'm so happy that you joined us. It's so great. Thank you. So we have the winners. Are you all interested in the winners? Yeah, me too. I haven't even looked at this yet, so I'm going to be just as surprised as you are. So, we have 3 winners and an honorable mention. To start, let's do the honorable mention. Pear. Where's Pear? All right, way to go, Pear. Excellent work. Come on up here, we're gonna take your picture. Okay, so there's 3 winners, and I'm not gonna drag it out because I know y'all are tired. So the first winner should come as no surprise. Adopt a Drain. Adopt a Drain. All right, come on up here. If you're in the winning team, come on up here. We're gonna take a big picture. The second winner, Need Hugh. Need Hugh, come on up here. And last, but certainly not least, Booklink. Come on up here, Booklink. All right. All right. So y'all can pose for pictures, stand in front of the things. We have some lost and found. We have some glasses, and we have some keys. So if you need glasses or keys, we've got them up here. Thank you all very much. We'll see y'all next year.